first circuit in this workout, we're gonna need a band attached to an anchor. All right, I've got actually 2 bands here, so I've got the second one tied on. 1 band works fine. We just want some tension and a pal-off hold that we've done before. Okay, the anchor is gonna be about chest height, maybe shoulder height. I'm gonna lock my upper body together, so my arms and chest will not move. They're gonna be linked together using my core. Then I'm gonna take my outside foot, so in this situation, my left, and I'm gonna move it forward, and then my rear inside foot is gonna move back. So I'm gonna be here, and I'm just gonna drop and catch. Notice how my upper body didn't move. Up, and I'm moving my left foot forward, or my outside foot forward, my inside foot back. So it is my left foot in this situation. However, when I switch and turn to the right side, it's gonna be the opposite. So now, my right foot's gonna go forward, my left foot's gonna go back. And what we're doing is working on a yielding catch. We're working on the tissues of the legs, accepting that force that's dropping into them, and then our upper body staying independent and strong while we make that transition. Okay, so again, our upper body stays locked in, our hands stay in front of our shoulders. We're not gonna drop height, we're not gonna turn. Start with your feet even, drop in. We're gonna do 8 on each side. After that, we'll be on our plyo pull. So we're gonna have a barbell. Remember, we're always leaning back into the support. So we don't wanna be on the other side of this pulling out, because then the ball will just fly off. So I'm pulling back into the supports of the squat rack. I rip up, let go, and I catch at the top, and the magic happens here where I let out slowly. Rip up, catch, slow. Rip up, catch, slow. Rip up, catch, slow. We're gonna do 15 reps there. After that, I'm gonna take my ball. I'm gonna do 2 quick steps to the side, and I'm gonna do an overhead slam. So I'm moving to the left, the ball starts on my right. Step, step, bring it over, slam. Then I'm gonna reset, go the opposite direction. Pushing off my left foot to move right. Step, step, over top, slam. Step, step. Notice how I'm bringing the ball over top, and I'm rotating that back foot, and then I slam here. When I slam, I'm gonna slam and catch. My lead foot is the anchor, so I'm internally rotating on that hip, and then I rotate the back hip through, okay? So it's like a golf swing, a baseball swing, a tennis swing, whatever it may be, it's a rotation, okay? Step, step, slam. We're gonna do 8 on each side. Then I've got the cable set up here, so we've been using the cables. If you don't have a cable system, then you can just get another band. You can use the ball in this. We're just gonna do some low to high chops, okay? So I'm gonna set up, rotating, keeping, again, my arms locked in with whatever apparatus I'm holding. So if it's a ball, I'm keeping the ball attached to my chest. Here, I have the band. I'm gonna keep the center of the band attached with my chest. And so you see, I'm not swinging my arms this way, I'm turning my body. And my arms are an extension of my torso and are merely holding on to the band. That's all their job is, to anchor us to the band and make that torso do the actual movement, and the hips as well, okay? So I have 4 exercises in this kind of a cardio, almost HIIT-ish type of a warm-up, really get our body moving before we do these hinges. So the first deal, I've got those yielding catches. I'm gonna do 8 on each side. Then I've got our plyo face pull, plyo row. I'm gonna do 15 of those. I'm gonna do 8 each side on our ball slams, okay? Make sure we reset between each rep, so 16 total there. And then I'm gonna do my chops. I'm gonna do 8 on each side there as well. So we're doing 16 total on the 16 to 15 total from what we're doing. On the dual sides, we do 8 each side, split up that 16, and then we do 15 here on the 1 unilateral movement. We'll run through this 3 times only, so no 4 sets here, just 3 times, and then we're moving on to our deadlift. For our second circuit, we're gonna go straight to the deadlift. Last week, it showed you the hinge with more of an RDL move with kettlebells. We're still having a lot of folks use those kettlebells or dumbbells that are just don't feel the hex bar, they're not their jam, they're not ready for the hex bar yet. But today I am going to show you the hex bar because we've got a lot of folks using that too. We are trying to ultimately go heavy, and a hex bar is the best way, in my opinion, to do this. Sure, a straight bar is great, and if you want to be the world's best straight bar deadlifter, you absolutely need to use a straight bar. But for us folks that have had our 28th birthday or 30th birthday, and we're kind of looking for some longevity in addition to still wanting to be strong, still wanting to be jacked, but we are looking to, still also die another day, and we don't want to be sore. We maybe have had an injury or two. The hex bar is really going to get us 95% of what the straight bar is going to get us, and it's just a lot easier to deal with. So I am biased towards the hex bar, but there are definitely situations where people can use the straight bar. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a lot more challenging to do and to get right, and the risk is a little bit greater. All right, but that all being said, we're going to go over some hex bar things today. We're going to stand in the exact center of this bar. So as you can see where we load the plates, if that bar were to be solid, it would go essentially right through our shins. Okay, I get my good brace. I make sure that my feet are spreading the ground. I push my toes in. I'm trying to spread the earth. Get a big brace here, the abdominals, especially the lower abs. 360 degrees of air pushing out. I get down and I'm going to lock myself in. So see how I lock myself down? I don't just jerk everything off the floor like that, trying to pull with the upper body. I use my upper body to connect me with the bar, and then I rise up. Going right back down, okay? Again, reconnect with that bar, get that tension, abs tight, and stand up. We're gonna do 6 to 8 reps here, all right? If you need to re-grip each time, that's fine. If you want to try to hit a few in a row, that's good too. When we come out of that, we're gonna get a ball, and I wanna go outside. We've been going out even though it's super hot. We're heading outside. We're gonna throw overhead. We're gonna do a nice squat. Our ball's gonna be hanging low, squat down, and we're throwing with the legs exploding up, and then the arms again are just used to guide and sling that ball. So I'm not trying to just throw with my upper body. It's a violent explosion from the legs, using that core to transfer that energy. Here, squat, up and over, we turn. We go to the ball, quick hop. Get yourself set here, squat, and throw it back over. Again, we're trying to throw with max power. For demo here, I'm not because I'm stuck inside, okay? But we're gonna try to throw with max power. So squat, get that ball as high and as far back as you can. We're gonna do 6 total throws, and then this is important. We're gonna rest for at least 2 minutes, maybe more. I want your heart rate to come back down. I want you to attack this next deadlift set that you really, really want it. Not like, oh God, I gotta go. My trainer's on me, or Matt's on me, whatever. We wanna make sure that we're good, rested, got a drink, have our air back, and we're ready to go on this next deadlift set, because I really wanna push that deadlift set, okay? So we're gonna do 6 to 8 reps in the deadlift. We're gonna go 6 throws on the med ball, overhead, outside as far as you can, and then we're gonna rest for 2, maybe 3, maybe even 4 minutes, especially on those later sets, and then we're gonna hit it. For our third circuit of this workout, we're gonna be on a landmine again. Last week we did a landmine press, starting on the right side, pressing up and bringing it down to the left side. We're just gonna keep it in one straight line this time, which is gonna allow us to go a little bit heavier, and we're also gonna get a little bit more squat into it. So again, I'm leaning kind of into the landmine, core's tight, always linking our upper and lower body. I do a little quarter squat and I explode up. I can even get up on those toes, come back down. Then quarter squat, explode up, coming back down. Core tight, coming back down just like that. Again, we're using our legs to help our upper body, but we want to remember this is an upper body exercise. So I don't need a real deep squat, just a little quarter squat, and we really want to explode with those arms. After that, we're going to do a J row. So here, I'm going to have, you can use a bench or a stool or a chair, but I'll just use my body on this. Okay, we're going to use, be in that same stance we were in last week, loading in that lead elbow is on that lead knee. Again, you can use your, you can use a bench or a table if you'd like. I'm going to get that kettlebell set way out in front of me here. It's going to touch the ground at every single rep. Notice how I've got it on its edge, and I'm holding that front corner. I don't want to be here, I don't want to be in the middle, I'm holding that front corner, and I'm going to row all the way from the front, back to my hip, and back down. Notice how I peel that shoulder back. I'm trying to retract my shoulder and my shoulder blade, so I don't want to dump forward. I don't want to just roll it up to my body. I want to reach out. I got a big stretch in my lat and my upper shoulder, my rear shoulder, excuse me. Row to the hip, and I reach back out. Low to the hip, and I reach back out. I'm trying to get that big stretch, get that long range of motion, so we're adding some stretch to it, and we're getting strong in that long range. Then, I've got my TRX set up short, and I've got a bench out in front of me. This is not a very difficult setup to do if you have a TRX. You can also do this with a bench and a regular setup, a regular pull-up setup. It's fine. Okay, but what we're trying to do, the TRX is going to help us out a little bit better because we can manipulate and move where our hands go. So as I struggle with this, my hands can turn more neutral or even underhand if they need to make me mechanically stronger. I'm gonna put my feet up on this bench. That's gonna be a pretty strong progression. If it's too much, just put your feet back down on the floor. We wanna make sure we're not getting our hips up too much or underneath or out from underneath our shoulders a whole lot. We wanna try to keep those hips directly underneath us. We're gonna hang, and then I'm gonna pull my elbows down to my side, and I'm going straight up. And again, notice how my hands kind of rotate a little bit. That gives me a little bit of mechanical advantage, so I get a few more reps than maybe I would on a regular pull-up. But we want to avoid going up with our hips like this, or pushing out like this. Our feet are just hanging on. And again, if that gets to be too much, we just drop our feet back down on the ground and finish out, keeping those hips underneath us. We're gonna try to get 6 to 8 there. So 6 to 8 on that overhead press. Again, we're trying to go heavy. We're gonna do 8 rows on each side. All right, again, getting that big long reach. So there's 8 on each side there, and then we're gonna try to get 6 to 8 here as well. Then we will do 4 rounds of that. We finished this up by simple suitcase carries. So I went outside, we got the 50 yards outside, shoulders back, and we did our nice marches. We kept space between our arms. Okay, so if the weight's on my right side, I'm fighting the pull this way. I'm fighting that arm swinging. I don't want that to happen either. I want to pack it nice and strong. I'm going to stay in that straight line, and I'm working on heel strike, pushing off that toe. So we don't want to make sure that we're not in a big hurry. We want to make sure that we're getting all those checks. So we should be feeling the opposite oblique, preventing us from leaning this way. We should prevent ourselves from kind of hiking that arm up onto that hip. Keep yourself organized here, both front to back. So we don't want to arch or lean. Keep yourself upright, left to right like this, and also don't let things swing rotationally. Okay, so make sure that you're strong. We're working on that pillar strength, all that anti-extension, rotation, and lateral flexion. All right, so we got 3 rounds of that non-stop. We're gonna try to go up, back 50 yards with your right, up, back 50 yards with your left, 3 times. So it's a lot of carrying on one side. We're really going for some good strength here. Have fun, y'all.